Hello there, everyone. Today's video is a short commentary on game theory. In particular, I'm going to reference the case of Goviex Uranium, which is not a highest cost uranium producer, but definitely not a first quartile producer of uranium, and they're attempting to be a first mover. So this is just the case that I'm going to refer to in this particular commentary on game theory. I hope you find it interesting. So just a note on this particular case, I didn't want to put this in the um, video on Goviex Uranium because I'm not sure how the contracting mechanics would or wouldn't have this actually affect Goviex. So this is just something that I thought of while making the video on Goviex, and I just thought it's an interesting little set of information on, and I just thought I'd talk about game theory and not necessarily um, how it would definitely affect Goviex because I don't know what the liquidity is on uranium contracts. I know it's not great in the spot market, so I would think the liquidity on contracts would be even worse, but I don't know this. I don't know also how many contracts are to be had at different times, different prices. So again, this is just a commentary on game theory, not a definite practical use. So in our case here, you have a company which is higher cost and ready versus its competitors who are not ready yet, but lower relative cost. So this is a rather unique setup where there's limited options. Obviously, in some markets, some production can come online fairly quickly, but in terms of miners, they're very slow. So this is particularly thought worthy. Now, in this case, it sounds crazy to bet over $1/3 billion on building up some mine with the hope that when you finish building it up, um, then the prices would be at a point where you could then make money, even though when you started and took the risk, uh, they weren't. That sounds crazy, but what if what if it's not? What if, and I will attempt to show you this in the coming few slides, what if it's their only chance? Now let me try to explain why this is. If you have two companies, or let's say a whole group, but one particular company, let's call it your position, you're ready, but you're higher cost. And then there's everyone else who are not ready yet, but are lower cost than you. Well, if you wait till the cost gets to where you need it, you risk having everyone else be ready. And if everyone else goes into production, that will drive the cost down, and you either potentially are lowest quartile producer and so are marginal at best, or you don't make any money in the longer run. So, and even if the cost spikes up in the longer run when it takes time and the inventories draw down and then everyone is ready to produce when the cost spikes, well, if everyone goes to produce, you're going to see a repeat of the past and the price of uranium is just going to be slammed back down, or the price of the commodity that you're producing. And this is very important from that last point. If the price goes back down hard, as it did go to $18 recently, if you're a higher cost producer, you're done because you're losing too much money. You have to pay off your debts, issue tons of equity. You're essentially done. So basically, if the price spikes up, basically high enough for anyone to be making money, then if you're only a marginal producer, in the long run, that's probably not good. So now that we've established that waiting is probably a bad idea one way or another, either your competition surpasses your ability or capability, or they don't. Everyone goes in at the same time and we're right back where we started from. So they need to guess, and they need to guess right. And if they do, either they are a marginal producer, and then if there's not enough afterwards, prices spike, and they are producing at that time, so they could theoretically, instead of be waiting to produce at that time, recoup all of their costs into the spike of higher margins, or your addition to the supply of in the market would prevent such a price spike because new supply is coming online and your production is part of it. Now, obviously, it's a very small piece of the whole market, but this is just the type of theory that you basically need to force your product into the market at a price that would be slightly profitable for you so that it's not immensely profitable for everybody else. So, in summary of the situation, if you wait, you lose. Like, definitely, but a little bit. Dilution over time, slowly fade away. Versus if you rush, you may win, but could lose even worse. Like if they win, let's say they have a cash flow, whatever, and they're in business. But if they fail, then they essentially almost immediately dilute basically fully. So it's worth looking at or judging if a small chance at a small success, but in that same scenario, a chance at a major failure might be worth more than a large or potentially almost complete chance at a minor defeat. Let's say dilution year over year almost perpetually. So just something to think about. So anyway, that's basically what I want to say about game theory today. Now, I feel it's important to point out that there are a lot of much higher producers or higher cost producers or potential producers than Goviex. So this isn't saying that Goviex has one and only one option. I'm just saying that this is something I thought of based on their situation when I was talking about them, and I thought it was kind of interesting in terms of just a different way of thinking about things. There are even higher grade, higher cost producers like in the Athabasca Basin that need $70, $80 uranium. So this is just out there. This is something I was thinking of, thought it was interesting. Hope you agree. If you don't, well, I'm sorry you had to make it this far. But yeah, so that's just about it for today. I will probably have some other videos about some other stuff if you don't have any particular questions. So yeah, expect those in the coming days and weeks. Till then, catch you next time. Have a good day.